Ladies and gentlemen, this is Soap Boxing Podcast.
Who did you turn professional with?
Heck, my man, what's happening, brother?
What's good, man? Can't make no complaints, man. How's everything going?
Oh man, I'm all right. Busy as usual, man.
Yes, sir.
We had a fight yesterday. I couldn't make it. I had a birthday party for my grandson. I ain't gonna be able to make the one today. We got 3 amateurs at CDM. But we had been messaging, bro, a couple of days, man. And then with you being a heavyweight, man, an undefeated heavyweight. Well, go ahead, introduce yourself, bro.
Oh, yeah. For everybody that don't know me, name's Zach Spiller, undefeated heavyweight. I'm 2-0. I just turned pro this year. You know, I just fought, 3 weeks ago. You know, went out there and got the win. And I said, man, I just do this boxing thing. And I'm just trying to stay active, stay busy, hopefully build a reputation for myself. Like I said, man, hopefully we get to fight for them titles in a couple years, man.
You're for people that don't know, you're a stablemate with two huge fighters I support, man. WBC silver heavyweight champion Danielle Chambers, and my guy, everybody's guy, Darius, man.
Yeah, man, that's my boy. Those those my people, man. I love them.
And give a shout out to Coach, man. You know I'm a trainer, bro, so I like to give all the coaches.
Hey, man, I can't. A shout out ain't even enough to give to D-Nell, man. Darnell is just like, not only is he an amazing coach, man, he's an amazing person, bro. I love that man. He changed my life, bro. So a huge, huge shout out to Coach Darnell, man.
Awesome. I finally got to meet him, you know, after a long time of being talked about, man. He's a great guy. I like kicking it with him. And, yeah, he's my type of dude, bro. So,
yeah, bro, he's just solid. He don't sugarcoat nothing, man.
Yeah, and you know, that's my reputation. So, bro, we
hey, right.
we put it out when we met, man. So he's got a hell of a stable of fighters, man. And y'all, you're from Killeen too, right?
Yeah. I'm actually from the St. Louis area, but I've lived in Killeen almost my whole life, man. I just got out to Houston about a year ago. I'm coming up on a year. So.
Okay. Oh, St. Louis, man. My wife is from the Midwest, man. She's from Kansas and then came up in high school and all that stuff in Missouri, man.
Yeah, I was out there the first 10 years of my life, man. That's where most of my family's at. You know, we ended up here because of military. Nice. I've been in Texas 19 years now.
I've been here about 22, half my life I've been here. You know,
yeah.
I tell people I wasn't born a Texan, but I got here as fast as I could, man.
Hey, right?
I love it, bro. I love Texas, man. But yeah, man, so I'm gonna put it out there, man. I'm a AJ supporter, I'm a Usyk supporter. My pick, if I was gonna pick, was I thought Usyk would win.
Same.
But I was rooting for AJ. And I was rooting for AJ not for nothing except being caught up in this English boxing, man. And I think England and hell, we deserve the Fury to get rid of any arguments. I'm a huge Fury guy. I don't know.
Right.
I'm a huge Fury guy, and I think, you know, all British extravaganza would be, you know, I think it would have been way bigger than Lennox and Big Frank, man. I thought this, because, you know, these guys, Lennox was the man. I thought Frank was just English, you know, they loved him to death. We didn't really care in the States.
Right.
But with AJ and Fury, now this is a super fight across the board. And I think if in England, it would have been historic. But I'm no, you know, you can't overlook Usyk and what he's accomplished and all that shit. So I kind of half-ass was rooting for AJ with an ulterior motive. But,
yeah.
But you know, as a authentic boxing guy, you know, I want the man who wins to win. You know, I don't give a shit if it ain't who I was going for. You know, but
Yeah, that was my stance on it too. Like I'm a fan of both fighters. I'm a fan of all three, just to
right,
put that out there. But I was, of course, I was leaning towards Usyk, but I was really just hoping for a competitive fight. I didn't really want AJ to go out there and get washed or nothing like that, and he didn't. Like I feel like AJ made a great account for himself. It was a closer fight than people are giving him credit for. He did make adjustments. There was things he could have done, I believe, that could have made it more so go in his favor. But he didn't do it. And but I do agree with you 100%. I feel like AJ winning would have been better for boxing.
yeah, it's and look, my reaction on social, bro, was kind of I was like, man, why is everybody shitting on AJ, bro? That dude fought hell of a fight. He wasn't getting no love from the DAZN commentary.
Dude.
Listen, now you're a fighter, so
Yeah.
don't agree with me. Don't get in bed with me on this, bro, unless you want to. DAZN has the worst deaths in boxing, bro. Like their commentary is in my opinion is horrible. And watching Usyk AJ, I'm like, they in love with this Usyk kid, man. I understand with the war and everything going on. He had a world of shit on his back. You know, Usyk, I think I might have been under, and that's why I tweeted this morning, but I might have been underappreciating or be misunderstood as underappreciating what all Usyk accomplished, because, you know, with that war and him going back and then fighting like this with the world on his back, you know, this is huge shit.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, they was jerking this kid off from round one. And it's like, man, are y'all watching what the big Brit is accomplishing in this ring as well? Because he had that boy poking his ass out, man. He was touching that body, bro, and was paying dividends. And other than saying, oh, that was a good body shot, it's like they was acting like it was a landslide victory. And I was going,
no.
AJ could finish this fight. If he keeps attacking that body, he could get the little dude out of there. But I think, in my opinion, was, you know, that muscle weight started playing a part. And he even, correct me if I'm wrong, at the end of the fight, he even kind of mentioned that, saying, you know, I'm not these little heavyweights, bro. It's hard for me to, basically, he was saying to his work rate takes a toll on him. And I'm going, yeah, but it doesn't have to. That's in the corner. That's what you're being trained like. I don't think it has to. But in his opinion, you know, I can't sit here and I gotta take them rounds off and try to bounce back or whatever. But again, to me, that's corner should be.
Yeah. Excuse me. I feel like, just to touch on the DAZN thing. So when DAZN did first start, I thought the commentary was horrible. Like I feel like they spent more time arguing about their opinions than actually talking about the fight. I do think they've gotten better overall, but that fight, it was shaky. But just to touch back on AJ, like I feel like AJ made a really good account of himself. Like I said, like he made adjustments. He attacked the body. He was using his jab. He's actually moving his head. He had his knees bent. He looked like a better fighter. It was just unfortunate that it was Usyk.
Yes.
You know, Usyk being a more skilled guy, in my opinion, the faster guy. If AJ would have did that against any other heavyweight, they'd have been raving about it, in my opinion. So
I would say, I would say that what's the kid they got from New York that's doing the commentary? He used to do like the early fights, but they had him on the main event last night. The guy who lost to he just got knocked out bad, the kind of bent.
Oh, Algieri. Yeah.
I think Algieri knows boxing, bro. I mean, he's got a little bit of the catchphrase bullshit that everybody uses, but that's regardless. He still knows boxing.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for him to like check the other boys, like, hey man, are y'all watching what's going? But to me, he was in the Usyk fucking fan club too. But that's neither here nor there. I don't, you know, I think they the worst deaths, but they there. And I was like, man, the commentary could engage the audience and people to how good this fight is what I'm saying. Whether you like the science or not, that's neither here nor there. AJ was in that fight. He
Absolutely.
was making differences. He was making and he adjusted because when he started going to the body, if you're like me, I listen to corners, bro, and I didn't disagree with anything that I heard Robert Garcia say. Like, to me, Robert was making a difference and telling him, listen, man, don't lean in, use the touch, maybe touch him 2 times, then right to that body. Boom.
I agree. The only thing I did disagree with what he said in the first 3 rounds, he said you won every round. I did not agree with that. But as far as giving him like the guidance he needed, I thought he did a good job. At first, I didn't understand. At first, I didn't really understand Robert Garcia, him choosing him, but I thought it ended up being good for him, man. Actually, I think he should stay with him and see how the next fight goes. And then, you know, maybe depending on who he fights and depending on how he performs, people start to appreciate him again a little bit. Joshua's still going to sell fights in the UK, man.
Regardless.
He's a superstar.
I didn't understand the Garcia pick either, other than Fernando and Mikey both fought big, and he needs that. But I've never seen Robert with a heavyweight, and I've seen him train guys to fight small too.
Right.
And I didn't need AJ to fight small anymore. That's what he's done his whole fucking career, fighting little. And what I seen was he was fighting big and then bending his knees to get small, to give them looks, to kind of draw him in and shoot to that body. But so I was like you, I was like, oh, this is turning out to be a great pick for the kid.
Right.
He just didn't sustain. I thought he faded, like I fucking worried about him getting stopped in my prediction late because I thought he would fatigue. But as far as them early rounds, Garcia telling him he's winning, that was kind of coaching up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Telling you know this as a fighter. That's your trainer telling you, hey, everything's okay. You know what I'm saying? Let's just stick to the plan and do this and do that. Now, me personally, I'm what they call a conservative coach. I think if a round was close, we lost it. And I tell you, hey, we lost that round. Because I don't care if you thought it was even. If it's even, we lost. You don't leave it to the judges like that. To me, you got to dominate each round. So my tactics are different than that. I won't tell you we're ahead 3-0 when I think we down, 2-1 or whatever the case may be. I'm gonna tell you the truth because personally, I think that gives value to what I'm telling you later in the fight. When I tell you, say, bro, we behind.
Yeah.
We win every round or stop this kid. We lost. I need you to hear that and be like, oh shit, we losing. But again, that's just me. I'm not there with AJ. I don't know what AJ needs to hear. I don't think AJ is he doesn't lack confidence, but in the fact that he speaks in the corner and he goes, where am I? How we looking? To me, that's a kid who needs some encouragement. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's how they choose to do with him. But that's kind of how I took that. I didn't take it as Robert really thought they was ahead 3-0. But maybe he did. Who knows? I don't know him personally, but that's kind of how I took that shit, bro.
Yeah, and AJ has the experience now, but like he said, he started late and then he's just been like this. His style's never changed. And honestly, I feel like since the Klitschko fight, it almost seems like he started regressing.
100%.
Like he just kept getting bigger than his fight. He was struggling in all of his fights. But the thing is, though, AJ doesn't have no bad resume. Like, out of all the heavyweights, his resume is very solid across the board.
Might be the best.
Exactly. So he's not in there with people who are just in there for him to beat. So he's regressed. But I feel like in the even the first fight, I don't feel like he did terrible, but he didn't do what he was supposed to do. You're not gonna outbox Usyk. And I watched that fight the other day, just to go back and see if I seen anything different. And that's how I could tell him like he did make the adjustments. But in my opinion, bro, he's the only way he's gonna beat Usyk is if he catches him.
Yeah.
And from the first fight, I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, he caught Usyk with a solid shot, but he never followed up with anything. He would stop and reset in the back of the ring, in the middle of the ring. In the same fight, he did that a little bit in this fight too. There was opportunities for him and openings. I'm like, bro, you landed this shot, followed up with something. Like you said, every time he hit, Usyk felt them shots. He felt that power for sure. But AJ really only sold out for, I think it was like round 10, round 9. And he really went after him. And then after that, his leg, baby deer legs. And, every time Usyk was touching him, he's kind of shaky a little bit. And it's like he gassed out right then and there.
Let me ask you, was it in the mid rounds? Did you see a clear path to victory for AJ though? I thought once he started touching that body and was getting the reaction, I'm like, oh, you can win the fight. You just gotta go. Or
I wouldn't say
that was just a couple of hard shots.
I feel like he should have stayed on Usyk. Like there was times, I can get sometimes you get in there with them guys that are quicker like that. It might make you a little hesitant to throw something, but then after a while, he stopped reacting so much when Usyk hit him. And it's like he would just take the shot and keep going forward. I'm like, you should have been doing this.
Yeah.
Like, you should have keep going forward, use your jab, touch him up, and when you get a chance, let off a combination and just stay on top of him.
Did you feel like that AJ needed to, be the bigger man, use the size and shit, and that Robert and the other guy, that's what they prepared for? I thought that's what he was trying to do. More so than that first fight. I don't know who the hell was the genius in the first fight to think they was going to outbox Alexander Usyk, but that was like the plan in the first fight, and I was like, man, that was a flawed plan out the fucking gate.
Definitely a flawed plan. And then when AJ was talking about like how they were telling him he was boxing beautifully, and he looked decent from what we've seen before boxing wise. And I heard his corner like, oh, you're boxing beautiful. I'm like, that don't mean he's winning. Like, he's doing okay. Like, he was always like a second behind Usyk. Usyk would rotate around him, and Joshua would take forever to react just to get back in front of him. And then by the time he's turning, like, he was getting touched 3 times. But I think that Joshua should have took it like a page, be a little bit more cleaner with it, but took a page out of like somebody like Joe Joyce's book. Joe Joyce is going to walk you down and bully you and constantly throw punches. But Joe Joyce can also take a punch. Like, there's nothing you can AJ.
I think you and I had a conversation. I told you how big a Joe Joyce fan I am, and people think I'm crazy. I'm like, they don't see what I'm seeing with that guy. That guy is fucking dangerous, bro.
Dude, he's extremely. I spar with Joe Joyce, and I've been told I can hit pretty hard, and I was catching him, and he just walked right through it. And I was like, man, I'm gonna have to do something else. It's
like he's such a strong fighter. I mean, with them backflips and all that shit, this dude is strong. It's like his I don't know what it is, and I know you don't want to get too much into y'all sparring, and you shouldn't, but it's like his I call him slowpoke Joe. And it's like that tricks people. Like, people think he can't fight but to me, it's like he's fighting off for time and the whole time. Like, and he sticks to it. Like, I'm going to apply with my punches. I mean, I'm going to apply. Boom, boom.
Well, the thing about Joe, he's a very active dude. Because, like, I was actually staying with him when I was in Vegas. And he's just an extremely active dude. Dude's an athlete. And then when he gets there and boxes, it's pretty simple and straightforward, but man, the dude just has the will to win, and he has a motor out of this world. So like he doesn't stop coming. He doesn't ever get discouraged. And like he just knows like my pressure is gonna break you eventually.
We got two comments from GM Vert. I don't know the name, but AJ looked way more confident in this fight.
I agree with that.
Yeah, and he looked more confident as the fight went on, up until he looked fatigued to me.
I mean, I thought he looked more confident from the ring walk.
Yeah.
Just in his face alone, man, you could tell he was locked in my opinion.
And Matthew said, I don't understand how a gold medalist doesn't have many more tools in his bag. Would you care? I got an answer for that. What you think?
So my opinion, I say this all the time. The heavyweight division is the only division of boxing you can get away with being average in.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because there's a lot of average guys out there that have found success. You know, not trying to take anything from anyone. I'm not saying no names either, but
Right.
you can. It's a power game a lot of times. It's almost like who has the will to win and who's going to land that first big shot.
Boom. And that's the answer for it. Like in the 70s, and definitely the 90s, the heavyweights were so outstanding that you had to have a tool bag. And then somewhere in there, the giants of the division, which were the 6'4", 6'5" guys, that was 230, 235, 240 sometimes, they got eclipsed in size. And today, you got 6'7", 6'6", 6'8", 6'9", guys like Fury, who that eraser has, and just sheer size has changed the dynamic of the fight of heavyweight boxing. Here's what I mean. How does a guy like a goddamn Wilder, who can't fight a lick, but he has 17, 18 amateur fights or some shit like that. It wasn't a lot, whatever.
Yeah, he didn't have a ton of amateur fights.
And he wins a bronze because he had that crack in his right hand, you know, that kryptonite that equaled out everything. And then, so now it's twofold for me. And so now everybody's got that. As long as you're a big guy that's athletic, we'll teach you how to throw a hard punch and you're in the race. But that's also why Tyson Fury is so leaps and bounds ahead of everybody.
Yeah, Tyson Fury is twitchy. He's quick. He has the height. He can move.
And educated out of this fucking world.
Yeah,
you know
he has the whole package, man.
He's basically a elite welterweight boxing in a giant's body. So that's the difference. And I think that's what it is with the heavyweights today, you know, and that's also why, you know, everybody wants to hurry up and compare people. And I don't believe in that shit, man. If you put a Deontay Wilder in the early 90s, bro, heavyweight division, to me, in my opinion, yeah, he'll still have that right hand, but he'll never use it, bro. The elite, the B heavyweights in the 90s, to me, the second tier, trying to get to the top tier, was so fucking good, bro. That, you know, you take the Ray Mercers, the Tommy Morrisons, all them guys, all of them. Yeah, they didn't get to the Bo Holyfield Lennox, but fuck, in order to get through them, you had to be a bad boy, right?
Yeah, there was a lot of there was so many heavyweights then that were competing at a high level.
Right.
But the fact that George Foreman was considered a giant is crazy to me.
You're the size of George, bro.
I'm bigger than George Foreman. George Foreman was like 225. I'm 265.
Oh, I'm talking about the second George Foreman. But yeah, you are way bigger than the first George Foreman, way big. But I'm gonna tell you something, bro. When you and I met, and I'm 6'1", 260 pounds fat, right? And I'm looking at you, you're a big guy, bro. How tall are you?
I'm 6'4".
You 6'4", 260, not fat, big fucking man. And bro, your big baby is your height, but he weighs less.
Yeah, he's like 240.
But you guys are the average heavyweight now. That's fucking insane, bro. That's insane, dude, because Joe Joyce is, how big is he? 6'6", man?
Joe Joyce is 6'6", about 265.
Fuck, dude. Wilder 6'8", 6'7", 6'8", something like that.
6'7".
AJ 6'6". Put it this way, Usyk's only an inch shorter than you.
Yeah.
And what he weighed last night?
He was 221.
221. He's a fucking midget heavyweight, bro. Look at him, how he looks comparably to AJ. And that's how you know he's such a great boxer. His ability nullified a lot of that size advantage. But yeah, man, today, heavyweight division, bro, that's how come gold medalists and top heavyweights and shit can have one or two things. And they're so fucking massive, bro. That like yourself, bro, you're not a little guy at all, bro.
Yeah.
And guys are fucking 5 inches taller than you, bro. That's fucking insane.
I mean, I just came out of camp with Philip Hergovich, and I was height-wise, I was the smallest guy there. Everybody there was 6'6", 6'7". I'm 6'4", but I had more size. I was bigger than all of them. Like, I was just a bigger guy.
It's a crazy world right now. But it's why boxing is in such a good place, man, because you take the average boxing fan that's not a boxing nerd, right? They look at the big name at the lower weight class, but they gonna tune into the heavyweights. Why? Because it's giant men going at each other, and they don't give a fuck if they skilled or not. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's all they care about, man. And that's like a couple times I get in there and spar, and I'm like, man, I feel like I look terrible. They say, I don't care about that shit. They like, just knock them out.
Yeah, just battle, man.
Yeah. No, but it's I feel like the heavyweight division, even though like your Joshuas, your Furies, and Wilders are working their way towards going out of it, I feel like the heavyweight division is in a good place, man. There's a lot of young guys, athletic guys coming in that are going to be I think they're going to keep it alive, man. The thing is, though, they just got to make sure that they push these guys well, get the name out there, get the people excited about seeing them, and the heavyweight division will keep thriving. You know, for a long, long time, when Klitschko was dominating, there was nobody to fight Klitschko. So, but now, you know, you have options out there.
The average guy didn't know who the heavyweight champion was from 2003 to now, you know, the last 5 years. But
yeah,
I've said it starting, 3-4 years ago. I said, man, the heavyweights are back, bro. You couldn't, it's been so long since we can name 6 heavyweights. And now we got 10, 15 of them. We all know who they are and shit, bro. So it's a great deal. Let me ask you this, man. But I don't know if you scored it like I did. I told you, I was at a birthday party and I lost a signal. So I completely missed round 4 and 5. I had to run out to the car, try to get my signal, put the zone back on. So I missed round 4 or 5. And I kind of went back and checked it out after. And I gave him the Usyk, I believe. But I gave Joshua 5 rounds, 4 or 5 rounds. I can't remember exactly, but that's a competitive fight. In 12 rounds, that's 7-5. You know, that's a hell of a fight right there. And it's kind of like social media, and especially the zone, bro. They was acting like it was a landslide victory, bro. And I'm like, this dude. Now, did Joshua win the fight? No,
not at all.
That score that had Joshua winning, that's shitty. Because I don't think it could be argued. You know what I'm saying? Like if I tell you Josh won 5 rounds, you can say, nah, coach, he won 4. And I'm like, oh shit, maybe I gave him 1 because I'm rooting for him, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's fair. Like that's absolutely fair.
It's
a
fair.
couple of them rounds for me was a little hard to score.
Well,
it was kind of, and then like, I was talking with Darius. I told him it's the same thing with the Badu Jack fight.
Oh, bro.
What are the refs or what are the judges looking for? Bro. And I was telling Darius and my brother, I'm like, man, some of this can be a little hard to score because we don't know what the judges are looking at. Like, I thought that Badu landed the more memorable shots throughout that fight.
Without a doubt.
Buddy was way more active.
Without a doubt, but this Popeye kid, and I've seen him on pictures and shit, so he's doing a hell of a job promoting this, but I had never seen him fight before.
Same.
So I knew who he was going into this fight without even knowing him. And I was thinking to myself, I'm a Badu Jack fan because being a Muslim, I'm rooting for the brother. But other than that, I think he can fight. But he's the most snake bit fighter I've seen in the last 20 years, bro. I mean, this dude wins fights and gets draws, right? So I'm like, this dude is like a man without a country. Nobody really roots for him. You know what I'm saying? And he ain't a bad guy. Everybody says he's a great guy, but he's a snake bit fighter. And so when they did that minute round, that extra 4-minute round, I'm like, well, hell, this is just catchback because he never gets help. Now he's getting help, which is wrong, which is horrible.
That was terrible, man.
Dude, I've commentated on fights, right? And I'm sitting and I've been positioned next to the timekeeper, right? I'm talking about right next to the timekeeper. One fucking job, bro. 3 minutes and a 1 minute rest. And if the ref calls time, you pause it, right?
Yeah.
That's it. That's your one fucking job, bro. How did you? Meanwhile, I'm watching a fight, calling a fight, talking to the people I'm talking with, people walking up to you. Hey, well, coach, what you doing? I'm trying to stay on this fight. And shit. This guy has one fucking job, and it's very, very important, bro.
Very easy too.
Yeah, and yeah, man, you got to be retarded to not press start and stop, right? I can do that, but this, I was like, oh man. But to be honest with you, bro, I didn't score that fight. That was the only other fight I watched on the card, right? And I'm going, I think this Popeye kid's winning because he's busy. I mean, he ain't no fighter. Like he put it this way, he's not textbook and no manner
at all. This shit up in the air, all that.
He reminded me of a great value right-handed Prince Nassim. Everything's wrong. Everything's wrong, bro. But I'm going, but Badu ain't getting him. He ain't cutting him off and clipping him, right? But like what must have been Badu's plan, I'm waiting for him to set it up so he could just pump and get this kid out of there.
That's what I thought he was going to do as well.
Chin way in the air the whole time like this. I'm like, he'll catch him. But he never did. And the few times he caught him, like the kid ate it and kept moving.
Yeah.
Like, it is crazy, bro. So I didn't score it, so I can't say who I had winning. But I could see if that kid felt like he won 100% and was robbed and shit, I could see why he would feel that way. And
I didn't
see round.
Yeah, and I didn't see. I mean, I don't think it was really the wrong call necessarily. Like I wasn't outraged by it. I was like,
Me neither.
Because like Badu Jack had a low activity level, but he outlanded him, I believe. Like he still he was more accurate. And then, like I said, he had the more memorable moments to me. Like he landed the more memorable shots throughout that fight. And that seemed to be the case with a lot of them fights last night. It was like the same thing with Philip and John. Like John would go off for like 20 seconds, but Philip was touching him up the rest of the round. But John was, when he touched him, it shook him up a little bit. But he pulled through and survived. Like he took some big shots and kept moving. And
Badu should have just chunked the jab at his chest and line him up, set him still for a second, boom, and get him out of there. I don't know. When that happens, like, bro, automatically I go to thinking, oh, this kid's meaning Badu Jack. Oh, he done hit the point where he's just going through the motions. He's getting in shape for the fight and then just going through the motions. And that's where my mind went. Now, is that true? I don't know. Maybe this kid was just so awkward for him or whatever, but this kid shouldn't have been awkward for a world champion, right? He should have been lining it up and getting him out of there. And I think that's what the corner was kind of saying,
I mean, the kid was shifty though.
Oh man, he was awkward, bro.
Like he would go right and left, back right. Like he was constantly like shit. So I could see where Badu just didn't make the adjustments. And that was, like you said, the championship fighter. Like you didn't make an adjustment. You kind of just followed him around, tried to land a couple big shots, and that was it. It
drives me nuts, Zach, because and remember this and ask D his opinion about this when y'all in the gym. But it drives me nuts because I told my guy, every camp has a group text. We all texting each other during the fights and shit. And I remember saying, let this be a lesson to all of y'all. Timing a guy, you could wait all night and it never happened. Time the jab. Timing with the jab. Get your jab established. So if Badu would have stayed there and just got that stick on him, like I said, just aim for the solar plex, aim for the center of that body, time that. And because once you get that timing, boom, then there's nothing to land the other thing.
Yeah.
Boom. but too much, they just waiting to time the big shot. Well, you could chase that shit all night long, bro, and it get away from you. But so it was real frustrating watching that fight because I'm looking at this Popeye kid and I'm going, this dude is flawed in every fucking way you can imagine. and but he's getting away with it. He's getting away with it with that awkward shit. So you gotta credit him for that, right? Like he's getting away with the shit. All right, cool. Because I'm like, oh, Balu's gonna send this dude into the third round, so to the third seats in a second when he catches him with his right hand, right?
Yeah.
But he didn't. So I'm going, shit, man, just line him up. Time that jab, get that center, get that chest right. Boom.
And with you saying that, that actually reminds me of something I was saying in the Joshua and Usyk fight. I feel like Joshua should have been aiming for that chest and the shoulders.
100%. When you got, listen, man, Usyk, and this is what people don't understand. Usyk and Loma, both of them fight incredibly little. They both in the deep in their hips. Hell, they'll end up front-footed half the time, right? But because of that southpaw advantage, if you don't know how to fight a southpaw, they're gonna always just slide right by you.
Yep.
Catch you with some shit you don't see. So they use small fighting, what I consider as small fighting. They use small fighting to an advantage, though, like intelligent. Intelligently, right? But if you watch Usyk and Long, neither one sit down on punches or nothing. It's all about changing where I'm at. If I hit you, boom, I'm not here no more for the counter.
Right.
I get exactly what they're doing. I mean, people think it's magic and shit. Not to me. That doesn't shock me at all. I took 2 fights for Quentin against Loma's stablemates. And both of them, week of the fight canceled. Both of them. Like, I'm gonna show y'all how to beat these motherfuckers. That shit don't impress me. I mean, it impressed me, but that shit don't confuse me, is what I'm saying. I know how to line him up and time him and get. And plus, we fight left-handed fighters completely different than everybody. But it's just how I was taught. But and again, bro, I thought AJ kind of was doing it right sometimes, right? He was going to the power. He wasn't afraid of the power. And as long as he was standing tall, Usyk couldn't reach him. It was when AJ started getting small, leaning in, that Usyk was torturing.
Like AJ definitely had moments in there. I think it was after the 6th. I know for sure that I told Dez, I'm like, bro, I think he should really focus on the trunk, like get to the body, the shoulders.
It's so important, bro.
Yeah, because I'm like,
trunk. Yeah.
Because Usyk's head is constantly moving. It's constantly swinging. He's very reactive, and he's always kind of just, he's always feigning. So I feel like that's what kept, like every time he was kind of fainting, Joshua would freeze a little bit. When he did throw a couple shots, he was loading him. I'm like, he sees that coming all day. He's going to see that coming.
And when Josh went to the body, and rather he hit the body or the hips, it was effective.
Very effective.
That's what you need to do. Slow his ass down and keep him right there. But when he peaked out, what round you say he peaked out in? 9?
Joshua
had that great ass round. He had a round where he was fucking beating the shit out of him.
Yeah, it was like 9 or 10 when he did that.
And then after that was his round, man. He bust his nut right there, and he didn't have shit after that, bro.
Yeah,
he was just like going for boom, boom, boom. But that shit should have been implied early. In other words, I understand you don't go straight to it early because you don't want to eat the left hand, right? But when you establish it and you're able to touch him, just touch him. That's all you need to do.
Exactly.
And believe me, I'm sure Anthony Joshua's touch is reminiscent of a George Foreman or yourself. Y'all big boy. Boom. This touch, if I throw it correctly and straight, boom, that shit matters, right? So just touch him. And then once you was able to go down, boom, boom, keep him back up. Boom, keep him there.
Yeah.
It was like, man, it was all there, bro. And as a trainer, bro, I'm going fucking nuts because I'm like, you can win, bro. You can fucking really win. And then he gave it all back.
And like I said, I think Joshua, I don't ever think Joshua's just going to outskill him. He would just have to catch him. But like you said, I feel like what he did in the 9th round, he should have did it a little bit earlier and kind of just did it in moments. I'm like, all right, attack him take you a break because we know he's gonna need it.
Right.
Go back to it. And like I think if he would have did that multiple times in that fight, then maybe we'd be having a different conversation.
Bro.
But at the end of the day, like Usyk felt the power.
Right.
And
it's a fight, bro. The whole job, my whole job as a trainer, right, is to take you. Let's take you right now. Now I'm not educated on you, so I'm using you for example. If you come in the gym, I go, all right, and I put you through the paces so I can see what I got, right? And then I go, okay, he's good at this, this, and this. And this, and this is shit. So it's my job for the shit part to bring it up or completely cover it to where nobody knows. And of course we keep reinforcing the good shit. And that's what I'm saying. Like there's ways to hide and cover up as long as the fighter's receptible, long as he's trainable. There's ways to cover up flaws and improve them, over a time career.
Yeah, 100%.
And so I'm like, no guy worth his salt. And I'm sure even AJ's first trainer. I mean, that's a real dude, McCracken. But Robert, there's nobody that's confused about what hampers Anthony Joshua. You shouldn't be if you're a trainer. You should. Every trainer, I don't care about the, even amateur guy trainers should be able to watch AJ and go, okay, he needs to improve this, and this, right? Anybody should be able to do it. And that's what I say, man. But you need a fighter that's receptive. You need a guy that's going to say, man, I'm going to follow you to the end of the world. And that's another thing, bro. I ain't going to lie to you, man. I was against AJ taking a Ruiz immediate rematch, and I was wrong because he knew how to peck and poke his way to a win. So I was wrong. But I absolutely, with everything going on, this is the perfect time for you to let this rematch go by. The guy's at war. The guy's country is all fucked up, man. So pick you a guy. And remember, he came to the country, and I was like, man. Now, there was about 3 guys I figured, man, if AJ gets with them, you're talking about a Lennox Lewis leap of skills. If he gets with him.
Who are the 3 guys for you?
All right. Of course, Eddie Reynoso, right? But I liked, and I knew he probably couldn't get Sugar. So I was like, maybe Jonathan Banks, one of them crunk guys that could teach him to use his size and height. But my sleeper guy that nobody didn't want to hear, and I ain't talking about myself, give me a big giant motherfucker like that, we gonna cook everybody. Yeah. but I ain't nobody, right? But so my sleeper guy, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Jose Benavidez Sr., what he does with David, if he gives AJ that kind of understanding of distance and range and timing and more importantly, offset punches, if you understand what I'm saying, like David will hit a guy, bang, 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 and you think he's just flurrying. And I know you've seen it. Benavidez is throw like 6 shots. It's just bullshit shots. Yeah. And people go, what is he doing? I'm like, you don't even understand what he's doing is not letting you get set so you can hit him back. That's what the fuck he's doing. But you don't understand that. So if you give a guy like Joshua that, get him off the fucking weight bench, right? He's not going to be no little dude. He's going to always be strong. Ain't nobody going to push AJ around, bro. Yeah. Especially if you teach him how to tie up, hold the arms, let him do all the fighting. You just go for the ride. As soon as he lets go, bang. I said, man, so my sleeper guy was Benavidez's dad just because of what I see David do. Yeah. But I was like, man. And then when they said he went with Rob, I was like, oh, shit. Because I'm a big Mikey guy, huge Fernando guy, but that was his dad, right? Teaching him. I know Robert had Kelly Pavlik for maybe his last 2 fights or something. And I'm a Pavlik guy too. He's a big boy for a middleweight, knows how to fight. So I was like, I don't think Robert will fuck him up. But man, if he didn't take the immediate rematch, bro, maybe he can grow into what they trying to do, take a few fights. And you got the perfect excuse. This guy's at war, man. He can't fight right now.
Yeah, that would have been my thing. That would have been probably the best thing. Just take your time. don't jump straight back into it. And it's like Canelo and Bebo. Like Canelo's like, nah, I'm gonna go fight this dude first.
And that's fucking Canelo. And Canelo has sense enough to say,
yeah, let me wait.
I done hit my ceiling. I see where my ceiling is. I'm a 5'7" Mexican, and I ain't got no business fucking with this 200-pound boy. But
yeah,
now it wouldn't shock me if after Canelo sleeps Triple G or whatever happens, it wouldn't shock me if he does take a Bivol fight if Bivol don't get whooped by
Ramirez.
It wouldn't shock me because I think Canelo's that type of guy. Just like I think AJ's that type of guy. Like, that's why I don't understand. It's a good segue into all sports shit. I think AJ's a competitor, bro. I think he really wants to win, bro. He really was hurt, bro. He fought his ass off and got beat.
Anybody who throws the belts out the ring because they lost, that motherfucker's a competitor, man.
And I must have initially I missed the belt shit.
I did too.
But he was so humble to Usyk, telling him he whooped his ass and how, man, I tried my ass off and you whooped me. How? And then gets in the middle of the ring, bowing with him and thanking God with him and giving him all the credit. Now, did he hog the mic and shit? Yeah, he's a fucking star. He thinks he's entitled to that. But he was more than a, you know, what I'm trying to say, giving this dude his props. More
he gave Usyk his flowers, but it lasted too long.
Yes.
He rambled way too long. He should have just gave him his flowers, you know, speak your piece and get out.
Yeah, I see. Here's another controversial thing with me, bro, that I think I get flagged for it, not from other people. My own people tell me this shit gets misunderstood about it, and I'm like, fuck them. So, but I hate that humble shit, all that be humble shit. Listen, I don't think people understand what humble really is. Like, humble is part of honor, part of being a man. Like, if I lose, I got to be able to take it and accept it in order to change it. If I don't accept it and I sit up there and make all kind of excuses and shit, that's not being humble. That's me being a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
If I lose and go, man, you the man, you know what I'm saying? Thank you for the spot and go on about my business. That's all I owe you. I don't owe you no more than that. And to me, it seems like a lot of people use that humble shit, Zach, as a way to take credit from you. Like, to me, it's like, man, humble yourself. You better humble yourself. And I'm like, for what? To be like you pussy? You don't live in my world. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And a lot of times, man, I think people mistake. I've done it myself, man. That you mistake confidence for arrogance.
Right. 100%.
And like in this sport, man, you have to be confident.
Yes.
In this sport, if you really want to beat somebody, I mean, you look at the correlation of everybody. You might not even see it in public, but I guarantee you when they're at their gym, they don't think anybody can fuck with them.
Right.
You have to have that thought process. You have to think that you can beat anybody, you're better than everybody, and you got to keep moving with that. And you got to tell yourself that until you believe it. You got to work hard and do that. But a lot of people, when it comes to that humble stuff, like me, I'm always the type of person, like, and even with my career, like, I want people to know that I'm relatable. Like, I'm a human being. I go through the same stuff you go through, even though I'm an athlete. And I do this stuff. The only thing, I'm crazy enough to get in the ring.
Right.
Because it takes a crazy man to do this boxing shit. So
that's the difference. Right.
Like, I just want people to relate. Hopefully it inspires somebody, I don't care if they collect toy cars, whatever, like, inspire them to do something with themselves. I don't necessarily feel like what AJ did was wrong, but even if he is that humble guy, you can have a moment of weakness. We all do as human beings.
100%, man. 100%.
And he was upset. So he did what he did. And honestly, it went on too long, but there ain't nothing wrong with it, man. Like, people have this I think these view of athletes that they're just these perfect human beings.
Bro, it's like that the way I took the little thing going through the tunnel, and the dude said, man, you did good. And AJ was like, I didn't do good. If I did good, I'd have fucking won. And then he kept walking and be professional. Man, what? as if I wasn't being professional.
Yeah, I just seen that, man.
Bro, I'm like, close your mouth, motherfucker. Go have another beer, motherfucker. I'm at my lowest point. You acting like I ain't been. And I just gave Usyk all the credit in the world. Walk with his flag on my back and shit. You know what I'm saying? Giving him all the credit for beating me. Man, fuck you. And this is what I'm saying. Is there any more humble fighters than Evander Holyfield? This motherfucker was so quiet. If you think Evander didn't think he could whoop every fucking body, if you think Evander wasn't in that gym going, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Evander was a dog.
That's where you got to live in order to compete in this fucking world, bro. And it's like, he's humble. He ain't talking greasy and all that. But if you think he ain't full of confidence, and these other people would mistake it for arrogance, man, look, I'm telling you, bro, it's always somebody telling somebody that shit because they feel insignificant to that guy compared to that guy. You know what I'm saying? That's what I see. And it's like, man, listen, yeah, sure, be humble. I get it. Don't be an asshole. But bro, quit telling me that because you feel small standing next to me, bro. That's your thing. Go out, like you said, you collect cars or cut grass, motherfucker. Go be the best grass cutter you can be.
Yeah.
And I can't touch you on your grass cutting ability. And you should say I'm a grass cutting motherfucker.
Yeah.
Tell me to not feel the way I feel. I just went through 12 rounds of hell with this dude, man, and fought my ass off. And that's where I'm at with it. And I don't mean to offend nobody neither, but it seems like that catchphrase, that be humble shit, man, is look, man, we humble. As long as you're honorable, bro, as long as you're honorable, man, admit your mistakes, admit you lost. That's all the humble you get out of me, bro.
Right.
I'm not gonna let you kick me when I'm down. You know what I'm saying? I done lost, now you won't kick me when I'm down. Nah, man, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, man, like you said, in this world, man, boxing, I mean, I remember Brian Jennings told me, he was like, look, man, don't ever read what people say about you on the internet. He was like, because somebody's always going to have something to say about how you did. Like, even in my first fight, everybody was just like, well, he was way bigger than the dude. That ain't my problem.
No.
He should have went down then. You know, that's what they matched me up with. They had like 5 people lined up to fight me. And they was just like, shit, whoever shows up is who you're going to end up fighting. So I'm like, all right, cool. It happened to be him. And they're like, oh, well, he was small. I'm like, well, I'm big. That's his problem. You know?
That ain't my fault.
And then, you know, there's always the people who don't understand what it's like to be in this boxing world. They don't understand what we go through. And, you know, like just the hardships of training hard, the mental capacity you have to get through a training camp. And
I can't give it no more validity than that. I constantly say it. It's like my home and my podcast partner Jeff, right? She just had a rough outing, and I always told her, I said, Jeff, I said, listen, when I tell you don't listen to the fans, it's both ways. It's don't listen to the naysayers, but don't listen to the people gassing you up neither, because then you buying into that bullshit. And then you think motherfuckers love you when they really don't. And so when you face adversity, right, here they come with that kicking you when you're down shit. So you got to not listen to none of it. You know what I'm saying? People who love you and they fans and they want your autograph or take a picture with you, you oblige them. You sign it, you take the picture, tell you thank you for the support and keep it moving. But you can't let that shit gas you up neither, because just like they doing it today, tomorrow you have a rough fight, you might not even lose, just have a rough fight. And same people on fucking Instagram and Facebook saying how you ain't shit and he should get a job and do it. Meanwhile, like I'm saying, they ain't even trying to be the best grass cutter they can be. You know what I'm saying? They're telling you this and that and the third, man. So you got to filter all that shit out, bro.
Right. And you know, even as a fighter, like as much as I am a fighter, I'm also a fan of the sport of boxing. Like sometimes I have to remember, like, I know how to, you know how shit goes behind closed doors with this stuff. And, you know, somebody had said something yesterday, man, that triggered me. And I was just like, he was like, man, AJ ducked Wilder and Fury just to lose 3 times. I'm like, bro, AJ never, I don't believe any of these guys really ducked each other.
No, man.
It's always a money thing. People don't understand outside of boxing. This is a business first and a sports second.
Very seldom do you find a fighter at an elite level anyway. At a top. When I say elite, you ain't got to be world champion, but like that's known on TV and shit.
Yeah.
Very seldom do you find a fighter afraid to fight another guy for money. It's always negotiation. In fact, it's usually the camp and the promoters and the managers who's trying to get the most out of it, and it's a negotiation between them. Yeah, to get you the most money, which means they get the most. They get their piece of the most money.
Right.
But seldom do you now. In the building process, these guys that you're paying a few $1,000s to come fight you, yeah, you'll get some of them that's scared and they just want to get the check and get the fuck out of there.
Right.
At the elite level, listen, man, and no bigger naysayer, no bigger critic of Deontay Wilder than me. But, bro, Deontay Wilder's not afraid, bro. He's not afraid.
He's not, bro.
He's that dude. When he showed me, and it was sad, bro. All the bullshit about the loaded gloves, and then he had a whole gang of people believing that shit, and then his corner and his trainers and all that horse shit. But you know what Deontay Wilder showed me? He probably really believed that because he went in there and fought his ass off, took a fucking hellacious beating, and still fucking got up, and was still trying to get up after he was knocked out, bro. That dude ain't afraid of nobody.
Yeah, he's not afraid. And like you said, I agree with you 100%. I believe Deontay Wilder built his career off believing what he told himself.
Yes.
Like he told himself, like,
dumb shit. Yeah,
I'm going to knock your ass out. You're not going to be able to beat me. And he believed it. And it did well for him. Look at him. He's well off.
He did it all the way to the title and defended it. Yeah, man.
Exactly, man. Like you said, that's what you gotta do, man. But I mean, I thought that shit was crazy. I thought the excuses were terrible. But I mean, just watching Wilder recently interact with everybody out in Vegas and go to his training camp, he seems like he's in a different place mentally. So, I'm actually curious to see how he looks his next fight. He said he plans on fighting until he's 40, so that's another 3 years of Wilder. But
and as long as he believes in that right hand and he's throwing it, if you in the end of it, he could get you out of there. I don't care if he's getting his ass beat to death. He can get you out of there, man. So
yeah. And Wilder might not be the greatest fighter ever, man, but there's been times where he's showed that he has a little bit of IQ. And his IQ is really setting up that right hand. He put that jab out there, paw at you, blind you for a second, and boom, you're asleep.
That absolutely developed as he was fighting. He got, instead of just recklessly falling, like in the rubber match with Fury, when I seen him trying to shoot that jab to the middle, like I was saying earlier, that's what he was trying to shoot that jab to the middle. I said, oh shit, they working on some shit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I'm not as harsh on Wilder as I was when he was making the excuses, because in my mind it still was excuses. Whether you believe it or not, it's still
egg weights and all that shit, crazy.
Yeah. But he kind of when he battled through and fought through and got knocked out, and I was like, nah, fuck it, I'm a fan. You know what I'm saying? Like, he tried his ass off, but so I tell you, bro, I think AJ won, like I said, 4 rounds. It was a competitive fight. I'm not worried about him as long as he don't lose his mind. I mean, the kid will make millions fighting shadow boxing. Fighting nobody.
Yeah.
Show up and fight him. I think he'll be straight. And I seen Usyk said he ain't fighting nobody unless he fights Fury. And then Fury rebutted and said, open up the checkbook. All right. How that one goes, bro?
So I think people are writing Usyk off already. Mm-hmm. Like Fury is a way different fighter than Joshua. He's bigger. He's not afraid to use his size. He's a lot more twitchy. And, he uses that jab. And he don't throw a jab from your typical boxing angle. He throws it from down low. So it might be a little bit harder for Usyk to kind of do some of the same movements he was doing. Joshua was kind of tailor-made for Usyk's style, per se. But I'm going to lean towards Fury of course, but I don't like how people just write Usyk off. I feel like a lot of people are like, "Oh, there's no way Usyk beats him." And Fury himself has said he struggled with smaller fighters in the past.
He has.
Yeah, so it's not like I think it's going to be entertaining, and I believe that Usyk is going to go in there with the full intention to beat this man and become undisputed in the heavyweight division. And I think they're going to open that checkbook and they're going to make it happen.
Absolutely. I think Usyk could have next to no chance depending on which Fury shows up. But if the Fury who comes to box, like I'm not gonna come and lean on you, I'm gonna come and try to box, that gives Usyk possibilities. And I think that would be a horrible design to come in and try to box with this guy. Not because I don't believe Fury is the better boxer, because I do. I believe he's the better boxer. But it gives Usyk a chance, right? To some options to change some things if you're not gonna lean on. I don't think Usyk's style lends itself well to the heavyweight division, except for the fact, like you just said, that AJ's style just lent perfect for him. Because if you think about it, the other 2 times he went to heavyweight before AJ, he looked like shit, bro.
Yeah, he didn't look good against Chaz or Derek Chisora, really.
Right. So AJ should have knew I got to lean on this dude, but he didn't. And what happened. I think Fury probably will come out and lean on him and push him around and all that shit. So Fury's going to dictate the outcome of that fight, win or lose. To me, he's going to either give Usyk the shot to make some things happen because of how he chooses to fight, or a handful of rounds, 6 rounds or something, and he'll weigh him down and get him out of there.
Yeah.
But I want to see it.
I think it's going to be a very interesting fight, man. And I'll say this though about Usyk. I've always felt like Usyk would have some success in the heavyweight division just from when I saw him and Joe Joyce fight back in the amateurs. And the only reason I say that is because Joe Joyce has always fought the same, and Usyk was taking them blows, and Weatherstorm still came out with the victory. So I was like, I feel like
fights neither, man. Was it the what was that league they was fighting? It wasn't pro fighting, it was amateur. Didn't they fight in that league?
It was something like that. Because I just watched Phillip fight Joe Joyce in that, and I think that Joe ended up fighting Usyk in that same one. I could be wrong.
I forget what they call that. But
they was fighting like 5 rounds though.
Right. It wasn't pro fights, but it was like it was still amateur fights.
It was damn near pro fights.
Yeah. I forget
what they call it. I'm very curious to see how that Fury and Usyk fight goes, man. Like I said, like I'm gonna lean towards Fury. I don't see how you don't. But like you said, like Fury, there's been times Fury have got in there and it was shaky.
Yeah.
But I always
smaller guys.
Yeah, and then but I do think Fury gets up for the higher level of competition.
Yeah.
Like when he's in there and it's like a danger in front of him or something like that, he elevates his fighting. He elevates. But I also feel like if he is going to fight Usyk, he needs to be in some really good shape.
Absolutely.
Like, go in there and be in good shape and do what Tyson Fury does.
We've been on here about an hour, bro. I didn't want to take up too much of your time. You got anything set up right now or what?
I was actually supposed to be fighting next week, but a couple little injuries right now. So I'm going to let those injuries heal, and hopefully, by the end of the year, I'm active again. Because I've been training nonstop since September of last year.
Right.
I had got COVID, and I had to pretty much start from scratch. And then I ended up I went to camp, was there for 5 weeks, came back, started training for my fight, came back from my fight, started training for the next one because I had another one lined up. Then I went to camp with Phillip. So I've just been nonstop. I was in camp with Phillip for 10 weeks. I fought in the middle of that camp. And I definitely felt it afterwards. I was like, I need to sit down for a little bit, man. I just been nonstop.
Your body will tell you, bro. Your body will tell you, hey, man, we need some rest, man.
Yeah, my body told me to sit down, man. I had just got a couple little injuries, going through that. I still got through it. And right now, I'm going to just let my body heal. And I'm going to just hit the ground hard, man. Like, I'm going to go back. I'm going to start rehabbing and stuff here in a couple next week and getting back into you know, the rhythm of things and keep moving, and I'm lining them up, man.
Before I let you go, bro, tell the people some of the guys you've been in the ring with before you give them your social media and stuff where they can find you, bro.
Oh, as far as sparring?
Yeah, I know you've been in with some hitters, man, some top guys.
Yeah, man. Most recently was Philip Hergovich, Bryant Jennings, F.Ed Jogba, Jared Anderson, Joe Joyce, Charles Martin.
Cream of the crop. You told me how hard Martin punches, man. People don't really realize that about that kid, man. He can swat, huh?
Dude, Charles can punch, man. You know, like I did an interview with the boxing boys, and there was some people in the comments that was like, well, maybe everybody's holding back on him because he was still newer. Every guy that I've sparred has tried to knock me out.
Right. You see,
like they've all tried. The only one I would say was BY ain't tried to, but they've all tried to. There would be a moment they tried to knock me out. Charles just has a really heavy hands, man. Nobody can take that from him. That motherfucker can punch, man.
He's in every fight if he's in there, huh?
Yeah, because you know I was out in Vegas with Joe Joyce at the time, and Joe Joyce is like, "Hey, man, he ain't exactly what you expect." You know, everybody always talks about Charles, especially you know how his little internet thing went. But Charles is a good dude, man.
I heard that about him.
Charles is a really good dude, man. He actually supported the hell out of me, even that whole time through that camp. Because I went in that camp and I wasn't in the greatest shape, and I told him that going in. Like I said, I was still coming back from the COVID, and every day he told me, he's like, "Bro, you'll be a future world champion. Keep working hard." And I went through that whole camp with him, the strength and conditioning, the sparring. I trained with him. I did everything with him every day. And that's what I like to do in camps with people. I like to train with them. Like I'm prepared for the fight as well. And I want to get better as I'm sparring with them and all that, man. No, I didn't do that with Philip just because the camp was in Houston, so I was still with D-Dell all the time. But those were like the crop of guys I was in there with, man. And every one of them was a good experience, and I've learned something from all of them. That's my goal, is to keep learning and getting better, because I've been boxing for a long time, but I'm just now learning the science behind boxing really late. And, you know, but what's carried me through this whole time is the fact that I'm willing to fight. I'm gonna be tough. I'm durable. I got power, and then I have like a little bit of just a natural ability to fight.
And receptive to learning, bro.
Yeah, man. You know, like D-Nell's been great for me, man. He's really got me in the mindset, kind of like what we were saying earlier. Like, stop trying to be this guy and stop trying to do this, and let's perfect you.
Right. Woo, that's huge, bro. That is fucking huge, man.
Yeah. So like when I got here, man, the only thing he would have me doing is just punching the bag real light. He's like, you already hit hard. You don't need to load anything up. So we just work on just kind of just touching, man. It's always a work in progress. I'm always learning. And if you stop learning this sport, then you need to quit right then and there.
Awesome, man. Tell the folks where they can find you, bro, on Instagram and stuff.
Yeah, y'all can follow me on Instagram as Zach Spiller, ZACH SPILLER. And I'm going to be keeping y'all updated. I'm going to get a little bit more active on there. And, you know, like I said, in a couple years, hopefully, I'll be fighting for a title, having some big fights. You know, I appreciate anybody who has supported me and followed me up to this point.
We cranking the show back up, man. So I'm gonna get your ass back on here, man. We're gonna preview some fights and then preview your fights and all that good stuff, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm saying, man, look, I got nothing but time, man. Like I said, I do this for a living now, bro. So when I'm not in the gym, I'm always down to be on here, man. I appreciate y'all having me on here too.
Showing up, bro. Tell the crew I said what's happening, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, most definitely, bro. Y'all be easy.
All right.